guys, so I wanted to do a review of all the books I read in October and let you know if they're worth your time. So I want to do more on my channel. That's all it comes down to. I have this wonderful space to record in now, and I want to do more. And since my life just is reading now, I love reading so much, I want to do more with that. So I thought I would do a review of all the books I read in October, which sadly, despite being on vacation for 10 days, having the beginnings of walking pneumonia, kind of cut into my reading time, which you wouldn't think it would, but somehow it did. And October was my lowest month of the year. I read 14 books. Disappointing. But still, I read some really good books. I don't think I read anything lower than a 3. I don't think. Oh, no, maybe there was one. But, yes. So, 9 were audiobooks and 5 were physical books, which is pretty good. Not my highest for physical books, but still pretty good. So, let's go through what I read in the month of October. I'd like to do these monthly, if you guys like them. But, anyway, so, let's go through what I read in the month of October. Maybe I should do my inhaler. Because I have walking pneumonia. It's great. It's great. So we had a solid start with Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I saw this on a few book lists, and I was like, seems like a good read for October. I knew it had vampires, but my goodness, I rated this 4.5. It's another V.E. Schwab book. I've had nothing but good experiences with V.E. Schwab. Yeah, this book, I mean, vampires, queer love stories, and I mean, they make you feel. Good vampire lore. It has 2 storylines, and the one runs across a lot of time, like 100 years or so, maybe more. Just, yeah, a lot of, like, passage of time, multiple storylines. It's very good, and some, like, oh, you think you know what's going on, and then, yeah, it's, oh, I can't recommend this book enough. It's so good. I was not expecting to love it so much, but 4.5, highly recommended. Next, I read With a Vengeance by Riley Seeger. Now, from the very first book I read by Riley Seeger, I was hooked. I was like, this man, I want to read everything he's ever done. This is his newest book. It's a murder mystery on a train, to put it simply. I gave it a 4.0. It has an amazing opening hook, and it keeps you interested the whole book. I'm not gonna lie, it does. But as far as Riley Seeger, it was not what I expected. Because he's very much like horror, gothic, creepy, I don't know. So it definitely was not my favorite Riley Seeger book. Sager, however you say his name. But I would recommend reading this one. It was good. I am doing all of my audiobooks first, just so you know, just in case you're seeing a pattern. So next, in honor of the amazing Jane Goodall. I read one of her books through a window. I gave it a 4.0, 4.0. This was just, it was a fascinating book. She was a fascinating lady, and it was just a glimpse at a group of chimps that she studied through the years, and it was fascinating. It's just, and like to see like this whole view of, because a lot of people just see animals as animals, and it's, no, they have these complex like ways that they live and love. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of the chapters were rough, like violent, yeah, but it was so good. It was so fascinating, and I really loved it. It was very interesting, and she was such a fascinating person. So next I did Seven Daughters of Eve. This was just like a free book my husband recommended because he went through it. It was fascinating. It's by Brian Sykes. I gave it a 4.0. And it was just like, it was a book about how through DNA, like scientists can track all modern Europeans back, like their ancestry, to these 7 prehistoric women. It's pretty fascinating. I was really wanting to go through it because there's a whole chapter on like the Romanovs. I believe it was written before they found all the bodies, just when they had the original 7 or 5 of the like main family. I hadn't found Marie and Alexei yet, but yeah, it was fascinating because some stuff came up with like oh my gosh, I can't talk. Nicholas's blood that was like weird, and they're like, is this even Nicholas? Yeah, it was crazy. Obviously they've confirmed now that it was, and yeah, it was just, yeah, it was very cool. And like, I know because I've gone through the DNA thing, 23andMe, and I know like my ancestry can be traced back to that caveman, like archer person they found years ago. So that, I mean, like, I love that. That's so, that to me is so cool. So I love that. So yeah, it was a fascinating book. And like, yeah, it's just, you learn some really cool things about DNA and stuff like that. So next I went through Backstory by Gabriel Berg-Moser, and I give that a 4.0 as well. So it follows, so 10 years ago, this group of friends, they're all like writers, go on this like kind of getaway, and the one friend dies kind of under mysterious circumstances. Now 10 years later, this reporter is investigating it because it was weird, and all the friends have like different kind of versions of what happened, and it follows like the reporter getting these stories from the friends. And I really loved how this story was told. So something about me, I love, if it's done right, I love an unreliable narrator, and this story has several of them. And the way the author writes this book, it's just fascinating because you don't know what's true, like until the end, and the ending is really good. It's very satisfying as a reader how the ending unfolds, and yeah, just the way the author puts this story together with all these unreliable narrators. I just really loved it for like a free book on Amazon from an author I've never heard of. I was very pleasantly surprised. So I definitely recommend that. Man, filming a video where you have to talk a lot with walking pneumonia is rough. It's really hard to catch your breath. So next, we're going to talk about 2 books together. I did them a couple books apart, but we're going to talk about them together. So we're going to talk about what is essentially the Darkwood trilogy by Anthea Sharp, which, by the way, Anthea, what a cool name. But we're going to talk about White as Frost and Black as Night, which is the first 2 books, because as of October ending, I hadn't finished the 3rd book. I gave both of these books a 3.0. And so this trilogy starts by following Rose, who is 13 when the books start, and her mother moved to this new kingdom because her mother has married the current king of this kingdom, and it follows Rose trying to deal with her new stepsister Neve, who does not want any part of having a new stepsister. And like, if this series existed when I was in high school, I would have been obsessed. This is like quality fantasy. I don't want to say romantasy because I don't like a lot of what romantasy is nowadays. It's just, it's a lot, and I don't care for it. Like, A Court of Thorns and Roses is like the exception for me, but I just don't like a lot of it. But this book handles like magic and dark elves and like romance very well. So it starts when she's 13, and by the end of book 2, I believe she's 18, maybe 19. I know she's 19 in the last book. But yeah, it's all handled very well. I think it's supposed to be maybe like young adult fantasy, but as an adult you can enjoy it very much. I liked it a lot. Like, it's very like easy to digest magic. Like, not all fantasy has to be like a bunch of like names you can't remember or pronounce. Like, it just can be like a fun escape, you know. So I really enjoyed this series. So next we're going to talk about We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. I have no idea how to say his last name. I gave this a 4.5 because, my goodness, I had seen this on so many lists for like horror, what to read in October. So this was not what I expected, and it definitely could have gone very wrong, like Staircase in the Woods did. But this book was so well written, and it was so well executed. There were times when I was like so uncomfortable and unsure and genuinely creeped out. It had everything. And is this an unreliable narrator, or like, I don't know. Like, it was very, very good. Definitely worth the read. I loved it. Yeah, I get it now why it's on so many like recommend lists. So my last audiobook this month was a reread, because much like when this book came out and the first book, out of nowhere, Philip Pullman just released the 3rd and last book of the Book of Dust series, because apparently he just doesn't announce his books. So I reread the second Book of Dust book, Secret of the Commonwealth, to prepare to read Field of Roses? Oh my gosh, I can't think of what it's called. The third Book of Dust, the last in the trilogy that I think is gonna finish up Lyra's journey, like, for forever. And I've already cried, because I'm already, obviously we're in November, so I've started it, and I've already cried. Yeah, but since it's a reread, I'm not going to go too much into it. If you haven't read Golden Compass trilogy, his Dark Materials trilogy, I've talked about it before. It's life-changing. It changed my life anyway. And then this is the second trilogy after that series. So, yeah. Let's move on to our physical books that we read in October. I read How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. Now this I only gave a 3.5. I was so drawn in by this book. The look, the plot. So 7 authors are invited to this previously famous author's house that died for like a will reading, and then once they get there, stuff starts happening, man. I mean, that's what the plot tells you. And I was like, well, okay, I want to be there for that. But I don't know, man, it wasn't what I expected. And that's what gets, I know I need to be more flexible when it comes to like reading and stuff, but like I go in with like, oh, this is gonna be so good because like it's gonna be spooky and creepy, and this just wasn't. Like, it maybe had like 1 or 2 creepy moments, but it just, I don't know, it got really like surreal, and not in the good way. Like We Used to Live Here kind of did. I don't know, it just, I don't know. I mean, I would say if you're more into like murder mystery, maybe give this a read. But if you're going in looking for scary, spooky, fun times, I wouldn't, because I think you'll be disappointed. So, next. My goodness. When I tell you, this is one. The Warning by Christy Acevedo. I'm really horrible at trying to figure out how to say last names. So, they try and reel you in when you read the back of the book, and they're like, you gotta read this book because this is the plot. Doesn't it sound fascinating? And that's what they did with the back of this book, and it did not disappoint. So, the plot of The Warning is that, like, all of a sudden, these portals open up all over the world, and these holograms step out, and they're like, hey, this asteroid is headed to Earth, and it's going to wipe you guys out in 6 months. But if you step into these portals, you can step into this future, and we have, like, everything you need. It's like this basic utopia. Everyone is welcome. Just step into this portal. They try to send cameras in. It doesn't work. People start going in. It's a one-way trip. They can't come back. And, but like, I like how she answers, like, the economic, like, what would happen economically, psychologically, like, to our world if this happened. It's really well written. I will say the pacing gets a little off in the middle, but stick with it because, my God, the ending. So initially I gave this a 3.0, but I ever since I finished it and I've been thinking about the ending, it's been really hard to like stick with my TBR and get through more of my TBRs before running out and grabbing the sequel, which is called The Fallout, because I need to know what happens next. It's such a good concept, and the way the book ends, because yeah, the whole book is just like, what would you do if faced with this choice? Because you don't know. You know for certainty that this destruction is coming. Like, they confirm it. This asteroid is coming. Earth will be destroyed. Okay, they try to come up with all these plans to try and divert it, destroy it. But you don't know for certain what is on the other side of that portal. Okay? Like, and then yeah, the ending. Oh my god. So I think I do change it to a 4.0. And I really just want to read the second one so bad. But I have so many books on my TBR I can't justify. I can't. Next we have Wait Till Helen Comes by Mary Downing Hahn. This has been on my Amazon wish list for years, and I just happened to find it in a bookstore in Wall, South Dakota, when I went on a little road trip. This is my lowest one. It's a 2.5, and it makes me sad. Yeah, I saw it on some rec, and I was like, oh man, that looks scary, and the plot sounds so scary. But it's just like, the writing is like very juvenile at times, and I don't know what and even if you look at like the print is very big. It's only like 200 pages. So I guess maybe I should have known going in. It was like, maybe it's a kid's book. I don't know, because it's very juvenile at times, but then it's also really dark. I don't know. I'm very confused. But it does have some genuinely like scary moments. But then she turns around and writes stuff that's so like in your face and like kind of campy that it loses that creep. I don't. It had it, and then it didn't. And that was frustrating to me, because I wanted it to be good. But it just wasn't very good. And then when I finished it, I found out they made a movie of this in like 2016, so now I gotta go find that. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Next, I bought this. It has been sitting in my TBRI for so long, I finally pulled the trigger. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. Look how beautiful that is. I gave this a 4.0. What can I say? Ava Reid can do no wrong. I literally know nothing about the source material, Macbeth, right? Or is Macbeth just a character in a differently named Shakespeare play? I don't know. I know quite a bit about Shakespeare, but I do not know that. But yeah, it's a retelling of Macbeth, kind of, but more focused on Lady Macbeth. And period. Ava Reid can do no wrong. It's beautifully told. It's interesting. It just keeps you wanting to read. Yeah, it's so good. I just love her so much. Parable for the End of the World is the first book of hers I ever read. And that is a book you need to read, for sure. That book is beautiful. So finally, our last book for October. It came out October 27th. I finished it within 24 hours. That's a great question. I'd love to tell you. By the wonderful Elise Myers. I love this book so much. I don't even know how to describe this book. It's short stories of her life. She tells you in a long, roundabout, funny way how to make a bed with the hospital folds at one point. But also, there's like bits and pieces of her and her husband's like love story in here. And I tell you what, if she were to ever novelize her and Jonas's love story, like fictionalize it and publish it, I would just gobble that up and probably bawl my eyes out, because it is such a beautiful story that I almost cried a couple of times just reading this. Yeah, she's just a wonderful person. She's so funny, and it was a great book to end October on. It wasn't spooky, anything like that. I mean, it does open with a trick-or-treating story, so that was pretty on point. But yeah, it was great. Loved it. So that is the 14 books I read in October. Yeah. Oh, I gave her book a 5.0. It was perfect. No notes. Just great. I feel like it's not even an autobiography, but nonfiction books maybe are a little different to rate. But yeah, no notes. Just perfect. Finished it in less than 24 hours. I couldn't stop reading it. It was great. So yeah, those are the 14 books I read in October. Let me know what you guys think. Have you read any of these books? Did you like them? And hit me up with some book recommendations, because I love to read. The book I'm physically reading right now, I'll tell you what, you guys, November, I can already tell it's going to be a great month, because the one physical book I've already read, and the book I'm physically reading right now, so good. It's going to be a good month for books. I can feel it. Yeah. Alright, I love you guys so much, and I will see you later.